Hello everyone and welcome to a new vlog. Now, I have literally just wrapped up the last reading vlog that I did, so I do apologise that I look the same in both clips. However, I didn't want to put off starting this vlog any longer. One, because I am currently reading a book that I am very much enjoying and want to talk about, and two, because I have some very exciting parcels that I wanted to open with you guys. So this one, as you can see, has a Fairy Loot logo on it, and that is because this apparently is the Heart of the Sun Warrior by Su Lin Tan. Now, I wanted to get my reaction to this on camera because I did unbox Daughter of the Moon Goddess on camera when I did my unboxing. This is going to be the most beautiful book. I can already assure you guys, from what I've seen on the photos, it just looks so stunning. So that was very satisfying. Here is our first look. Now, you can't see much because of the bubble wrap, but wow, the colours on this, oh my goodness. Right, I'm trying not to look too in depth at it whilst I figure out how to open it. Okay, I found it, it's at the top, so I'm gonna look away for a minute. This is so difficult. But we have the big reveal. So this, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Right, so the lighting here is not the best, it's really dark, I'm so sorry, but this is the front cover. Then we have these gorgeous stenciled edges, which again I'm just obsessed with. This is the back, which I really hope is in focus, and then let's just see under the dust jacket. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. We have this foil design printed onto the book itself, which is just beautiful. We have this artwork on the front end pages and this artwork on the back. And as per usual with Fairy Loot editions, this is also signed by the author. I am just blown away by this, you guys. It's so much prettier in person. Like, the colours are so vibrant, and I feel like they all go together so well. But wow, I am so happy to finally have this. I completely forgot that I pre-ordered it. It's been that long, and when it arrived I was a bit confused, but I of course realised what it was after a while, and yeah, I've just been wanting to open it ever since. So I'm so happy that I finally got to do that. It is beautiful. I am honestly a bit too lazy to go and pick up Daughter of the Moon Goddess off of my shelves right now, but I will show both of these together in my January book haul, which should be coming next week, hopefully. I am going to film it this weekend, so yeah, very excited to be featuring this one in it now. All I'll tell you about this one is what the little snippet says at the bottom. It says, the stunning sequel to the Sunday Times best-selling Daughter of the Moon Goddess delves deeper into beloved Chinese mythology, concluding the epic story of Xingyin, the daughter of Chang'e, and the mortal archer Hui, as she battles a new threat to the realm in this powerful tale of love, sacrifice, and hope. I did really enjoy the first book. The romance thing wasn't really to my taste, but we'll see how everything plays out in this one. It is only a duology, so this is the second and last book, so hopefully that will make me pick it up a bit sooner, because I do tend to put sequels off for some reason. So yeah, hopefully I can dive into this one soon. But Fairy Loot have just completely outdone themselves on this one. I absolutely love it, and I'm so happy to add it to my collection. Once again, I do just want to apologise for the funny lighting. If I put this lamp on behind me, I don't know if it makes it worse or better. Like, that's a lot darker, but I feel like I'm washed out like this. Let me know. I might leave it on for now, but yeah, if you find it a bit funny, let me know and I won't film a clip like this again. Okay, so this could be one of two things, and I'm excited for both. So let's just dive into it. Where's the little tab? Here. Oh, I've been doing quite well with the pulley tabs today. I'm not normally that good at them, if you've seen some of my unboxings. The book, though, doesn't want to come out. Oh, is it coming? There we go. And here we have A Part of Your World by Liz Braswell, and this is part of the Disney Twisted Tales series. Now, I do already own 4 of these, I want to say. I can only see 2 on my shelves, but from what I can remember, I have Unbirthday, Go the Distance, Straight On Till Morning, and What Once Was Mine. So an Alice in Wonderland retelling, a Hercules retelling, a Peter Pan retelling, and a Tangled retelling, or Rapunzel retelling. So it was only fitting that I buy a Little Mermaid retelling because that is one of my favourite ever Disney films. It's the one I remember the most growing up, and so yeah, I really wanted to add this to my collection. To be honest, the main reason I bought this is because I've been selling some books from my recent unhaul on Depop and I ran out of boxes to post them in. Obviously that meant I had to buy a new book, and I did go through my wish list, which is something I do need to sit down and kind of clear out, because by going through that wish list I realised that I'd lost interest in a lot of the books that were on there and I just wasn't really drawn to anything. That was until I saw this one, so I decided, do you know what, I'm just gonna buy it. It was a little bit expensive. These books are quite pricey, especially if you get them in hardcover, but it's one that I've wanted for a while. I really do want a full collection of these, and so it did make sense to buy this one. So on the back it just says, what if Ariel had never defeated Ursula? And the synopsis reads, it's been 5 years since the infamous sea witch defeated the Little Mermaid and took King Triton's life in the process. Wow, this is going to be dark. Ariel is now the voiceless queen of Atlantica, while Ursula runs Prince Eric's kingdom on land. But when Ariel discovers that her father might still be alive, she finds herself returning to a world and a prince she never imagined she would see again. Ariel soon learns that Ursula has been making the most of her role as princess, plotting, scheming and waging outright war with neighbouring kingdoms. And after the disguised sea witch catches wind of Ariel's resurfacing, she threatens to obliterate both land and sea. Will Ariel be able to overthrow the murderous villain bent on destroying her home, along with the world she once longed to be a part of? Follow this tale of power, love and a mermaid's quest to reclaim her voice. That just sounds so good. I'm very interested to see how it all plays out. If any of you are Marvel fans, it's kind of like the What If series on Disney Plus, where they kind of put different Marvel characters in different character situations. I'm not sure if I've explained that properly, but it's kind of that thing of course, what if? And so I'm very excited to dive into this one, and it's going to look really nice with the rest of the books that I own in this collection. And now it's time for the last package, which arrived today actually. Let's see what this is. I'm so excited for this one. Again, I thought it was coming out a lot later than it actually was. I'm so excited. I think it's the wrong way, so I'm just gonna quickly turn it to you guys. Can you see what it is? It's Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. Ah! Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to finally own this. It is beautiful. Wow, it has stunning art on the end pages. Look at that, you guys. Are there some different ones on the back? No, it's the same on the back. This is one I thought was coming out about halfway through the year. I swear I saw a post the other day saying that it was 50 days until this book came out, so I wasn't really thinking about it until I got a dispatch email for this book. And I was very confused. I googled it and apparently the release date is the 31st of January. So yeah, I don't know what happened with me there, but this cover is one of the most beautiful things I've seen. It looks so much different in person, I feel like. It's definitely a lot darker and a lot more brown. I think it looks more vibrant on the Instagram posts and things that I've seen, but this is just gorgeous. I am honestly terrified. I've read Chain of Gold twice. I then read Chain of Iron some point last year, I can't actually remember, and I've been desperately awaiting this book ever since, because if you've read Chain of Iron, you'll know that it left off on such a crazy and intense moment, and I need to know what's going on, you guys. But honestly, I think I might listen to the audiobook for this, because that is how I reread the first book and listened to the second book for the first time, and I absolutely loved my experience consuming the story that way, so I do think that I might do that. However, I love reading a Cassandra Clare book. I just want to dive into it straight away, and I'm so annoyed that I forgot that this is coming out, because I could have put it on my February TBR, but there we go. It can be one that I can save until March. Maybe I'll read it towards the end of February if I've got time, we shall see, but I'm just so happy about this one. The only thing is that once again I've received a copy from Amazon which has a little bit of damage on it. It's definitely not the most notable thing in the world, but it is something that is going to annoy me. I did think that I pre-ordered this from Waterstones, but obviously not. I did pre-order the Waterstones exclusive edition, so hopefully that will be coming soon as well. But yeah, I can't tell you too much about this one unfortunately, because it is the last book in Cassandra Clare's Last Hours trilogy. In the first book though, we follow a group of young shadow hunters as they battle different demons throughout London. Now, shadow hunters are angelic beings. They are half human, half angel, and their purpose is to rid the world of demons. Now we have a new character who is introduced called Cordelia Carstairs, and her family have moved over to London to try and better associate themselves with the other shadow hunters, because they have been living away for the past few years and they want to kind of reintegrate into the shadow hunter society, as Cordelia is of an age to marry. So they move over, everything seems to be normal, however the demon attacks plaguing London just get worse and worse, and the shadow hunters find themselves facing something that they never could have imagined. And so yeah, it has all the teenage drama that you would expect. It has battle scenes, romance, politics, and yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend, and as I mentioned, terrified to dive into this book, but I need to know what happens. I am about to purchase a ticket to watch one of Cassandra Clare's interviews about this book. It's going to be an event in Dublin that is being live streamed across the world, so I do think I'm going to buy a ticket for that because you get a book. And if you guys don't know, I did go to a Cassandra Clare event last year where I got Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron in the UK tour editions, and I would honestly never forgive myself if I didn't get the third book. So I do think I'm going to do that, even though it's so expensive. There isn't a book only option, so I do think I'm just going to have to buy the whole package and watch the stream, which I'm obviously not mad about. But I've seen Cassandra Clare at Yelp last year, at the event last year, talking about these books, and now I'm gonna watch her talk about them on another stream, so I'm not sure if she's gonna say anything different, but it's fine. I will just have to bite the bullet and spend some money, which I don't want to be doing right now, but it's worth it for a matching collection of these books. And yeah, I just can't stop staring at it. So I think I'm going to stop talking about this one now. I am so close to just starting this though, but I can't, because I am currently reading Anything You Can Imagine, Peter Jackson and the Making of Middle-earth by Ian Nathan. Now, this was on my January TBR, if you've seen that video. However, it's currently the 31st of January and I'm definitely not going to finish this today, so I am going to carry it over into February, which normally I'd be quite mad at myself for, but I'm really not, because I'm having the best time with this book. I did start reading it physically, but it took me so long just to read the first 20 pages. There is so much information that is kind of thrown at you from page 1, and I did find it very confusing. I found that I was rereading a lot of pages, and so I did make the decision to switch to the audiobook for this one, and I'm so glad I did, you guys, because I am having an amazing time. As I mentioned, the story is flowing a lot better and I'm retaining a lot more information just by listening to someone else tell it, and yeah, that's definitely what I needed for this type of book. I am finding so many new things out, which is so interesting. I've laughed, I've gasped, I've been in disbelief, and yeah, it is just a really insightful read. In case you're not aware of what this book is about though, it does tell the story of Peter Jackson, who is the director of the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy, and of course a lot of other films aside from them, but this book does focus on the making of Middle-earth, as the title suggests, and it literally takes you on this massive journey from the beginning with Peter and the cast and other people that were involved. I don't need to tell you guys that the Lord of the Rings films are my favourite films of all time, and so to get an account from the director about what was going on, what the different casting choices were, what the setbacks were, what the issue with the rights were and things like that, is just all encompassed in this, and it's just so eye-opening to see how much effort that this man put in to make those films. Without Peter Jackson and the Lord of the Rings films, I would be a completely different person right now, and that really just scared me because I can't imagine my life without this story. And I did actually grow up watching the Lord of the Rings. I watched the films way before I picked up the books. I fell in love with the world, I fell in love with the characters, the story, and just everything. So to get a behind the scenes look at everything is just fantastic. And I know that this isn't directly written by Peter Jackson. He is way too busy to be writing a novel about himself. But we do have quotes by Peter Jackson about this whole experience. It's done very cleverly, and it does just read like a kind of whimsical story, not actual reality. So yeah, I'm so glad I switched to the audiobook because I am now 184 pages in. So I have listened to this chunk. I still have a long way to go. This book is 564 pages, I want to say. So definitely a long one, but I'm having the best time. I have not wanted to stop listening to it ever since I started it, which is how you know that this is a good book, especially with it being a non-fiction, because I rarely read non-fictions. They are definitely not the types of books that I gravitate towards. But as I mentioned, Peter Jackson is such an important figure in my life. I of course don't know him personally, but the impact that him and his films have had are just beyond words. And so yeah, this is just an amazing experience. I'm so glad to have picked it up, and I'm even more glad to have decided to listen to the audiobook. I will be trying to read this physically as well though, because this does have some photos throughout. So this is an example of a page, and then this is another one where we have a double page spread of photos. So I definitely want to sit down and look at these properly. That one of Ian McKellen with his umbrella just makes me laugh so much. I'm gonna stop talking about this one because I could go on about it for hours. I haven't actually chosen another book to read for this vlog yet. I don't really know what to pick up next. There are only 2 books I think that I want to pick up physically, and I'm looking that way because my TBR cut is there. So I have Breaking by Amanda Cassidy or Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes, and I feel like if I read Falling Kingdoms I will want to binge it, so I should start it towards the weekend. Whereas Breaking, I'm not too sure. Will I want to read it in one sitting? Will it grab me from the get-go? I am honestly debating what to do. I feel like no matter what way I go, I'm gonna love the book, hopefully at least, but I just don't quite know what I'm in the mood for yet. I could do with a fast-paced thriller, or I could do with a Game of Thrones YA fantasy. You guys will probably know from the thumbnail already, so I don't know why I'm going through this kind of decision process here, but I will probably next update you guys once I've started a physical read, because I am just going to be gushing about this book in every single clip, so there's no point in me updating you and just going over what I've said previously. So I do want to give you different opinions on a different book, but what that book is going to be, I don't know. For now though, I'm going to hop in the bath. I might end up listening to more of the audiobook for this one, or I might watch some YouTube, we shall see. But for now, I am going to end this clip here. It's been such a long one, I'm so sorry. But I was so desperate to open those parcels as soon as possible, and I wanted to tell you guys about this book as well, because I feel like by tomorrow I will have listened to a good chunk of it. So I wanted to give you my initial thoughts and we can go from there. So for now, I am going to end this clip here, and I will chat to you guys once I've picked up a new book or have more thoughts on this one. Hi guys, now this is going to be a very quick update from me because I am actually about to head off to a dance fit class, but I did want to update you guys on my progress because I don't know if you can tell, but I've gotten through a big chunk of this book. I'm currently on page 284, which means that I'm around the halfway mark. This is, again, so good. I don't know how the second half of the book is going to go now because we have kind of covered the making of the film in the first half, so I'm definitely intrigued to see where it goes from there. Maybe it's the aftermath and things like that, because obviously the films were released quite a while ago, and I'm not sure when this book was released actually, but it can't have been too long. 2018. So yeah, there's definitely enough to cover in this. It might even go over the Hobbit films as well actually, so definitely excited to continue on with this one. And then for my physical book, I haven't been too sure what I've been wanting to read, but I do think I'm going to pick up Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes, so I might try and read a bit of this tonight, depending on whether I have enough time or not, because as I mentioned, I'm off to a dance fit class now. That's going to be about an hour of my time. I then need to come back home, make tea, have a shower, and plan for tomorrow, because I'm actually going on a school trip tomorrow, so I need to make sure that everything is in place. But hopefully I can sit down and read this one, because I have been dedicating so much time to this one. I've been sat down with my AirPods records in listening to the audiobook and I've loved it, but I do think I want to start physically reading this one now, and honestly I really hope that I love it. I can't wait to start it, even though I don't really know what it's about. So I'm just going to quickly read you the synopsis. I am aware of the time, I need to go in a sec. It says, in the three kingdoms of Mythica, magic has long been forgotten, and while hard-won peace has reigned for centuries, a deadly unrest now simmers below the surface. As the rulers of each kingdom grapple for power, the lives of their subjects are brutally transformed, and four key players, royals and rebels alike, find their fates forever intertwined. Cleo, Jonas, Lucia and Magnus are caught in a dizzying world of treacherous betrayals, shocking murders, secret alliances and unforeseen love. The only outcome that's certain is that kingdoms will fall. Who will emerge triumphant when all they know has collapsed? That just sounds amazing. Sorry if you can hear Kiwi chewing on her antler down here. She is being very loud. But yeah, this is definitely my type of thing. I genuinely can't wait. And I am really hoping that I do end up loving this one, because it's a series that I've heard nothing but amazing things about. And again, I love the fact that it's pitched as Game of Thrones for young adult readers. So yeah, I think that this is going to be my physical read. I'm so excited. Hopefully gonna start it tonight, and I will of course let you guys know what I think as soon as I have started it. For now though, I do have to head off. I will put clips in of the dance fit class if I can. However, I will just say that it will contain flashing lights, because the way they do it is they turn off all the lights, give you the neon glow in the dark wristbands, and essentially then it's like a little party. So there will be flashing lights. I will have this video timestamp, so if you do just want to skip ahead, that is completely fine. But I love dance fit, it's so much fun, and I go there with my cousin Adriana and about 60 other people. There are a lot of people there. So yeah, it is currently bang on 6 o'clock. The class starts at 6:30. Ads and I normally walk up around 6 o'clock just to make sure we get there by about 20 past. So I am going to end this clip here. Again, apologies if anything was shaky. Kiwi has been chomping away down there, and yeah, the camera might have been a bit unstable, so sorry about that. Oh, here she is. As I mentioned her name, she has decided to join us. Hi, you're being a bit of a pain again. Oh, bless her. She loves the attention, don't you, Bubby? Yeah? But right, gotta go now, otherwise I will be late, and I will chat to you guys as soon as I have some updates. Worked hard. Hi guys, I am happy to report that I have now finished Anything You Can Imagine, Peter Jackson and the Making of Middle-earth by Ian Nathan, and you guys could probably tell, but I have given it 5 out of 5 stars. I won't go on about it for too much longer because I know I've spoken quite heavily about it throughout this vlog, but it was such a good insight into Peter Jackson's background, a bit of his life story, what he did before The Lord of the Rings, how he then got dragged into making The Lord of the Rings, and of course everything that happened after that. I did say I wasn't sure how the second half was going to go, but it essentially carried on with what it was doing in the first half. It kind of referred back to certain actors and what they were doing, and some sort of directing techniques that Peter was doing, conflict between the different companies that were involved and things like that. And then we did go on to learning some more about The Hobbit. Now, we didn't get too much about The Hobbit, which is a bit of a shame actually. I would have liked to have learned a little bit more about that process, but it was such a good book. The narrator, who I believe is called Tristan Wymark, I might have heard that wrong. Let me just play it on a slower speed actually.
Peter Jackson and the Making of Middle-earth by Ian Nathan. Read by Tristan Wymark.
I think it's Tristan Wymark. Anyway, the narrator for the audiobook was really good. He did all the different accents. The only thing I would say is that the pronunciation of some of the words in here wasn't great. I definitely think he could have looked into it a bit more, but overall I had such an amazing experience listening to this book. I'm so glad that I did switch to the audiobook, as I've previously mentioned, and it was just lovely to hear a bit more about what it took to create these fantastic films and all of the struggles as well that came alongside that. So yeah, I would highly recommend if you are a fan of Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings films. It was such a good book. It's definitely long and some parts do drag a little bit, but I did find out a bunch of new stuff that I wasn't aware of previously, and I just had an amazing time listening to it, so I would highly recommend. And then I have also started Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. Now currently I am 164 pages in, and I've just realised that I stopped for some reason in the middle of a chapter, which is really annoying. Oh, I remember what it was. I was on my lunch break and I was trying to read some of this, and unfortunately had to go back to work afterwards. But yeah, I am a good chunk of the way through this now. I'd say I'm about a third of the way through, so definitely good going. This is one that I'm really enjoying so far. I've definitely gotten sucked into the story a lot more by now. The start was definitely a bit slower, as it would be with a new fantasy book, but I'm definitely into it now. I can differentiate between the different characters and I know what's going on in each of the different countries. I don't really know how to talk about this book without spoiling it, but essentially we have our four main characters who at the start of the novel are living their own lives. They're not really aware of one another. That is until one day some of these main characters go out to buy some wine, and one of the royal party starts getting a bit too cocky, thinks that because he's a royal he can essentially steal the wine from these people. He's offering a ridiculous price for this wine, and one of the wine merchant's son actually stands up to him, and of course this royal doesn't like that, and instead of just walking away or offering a fair price, he decides to stab the boy. This event sets a lot of different things in motion. There are countries now that are starting to talk about war. There are some more key players that are brought into this by chance, and honestly I have no idea where it's going to go from here. I have only just scraped the surface with the plot of this book. I think our characters haven't really gotten to that point yet where their fates kind of intertwine, so I'm not sure how long that is going to take, to be honest with you. We have two characters that actually live together. We have another character who is a royal, and then we have the brother of the murdered boy who is now set on vengeance. So there's a lot going on in this book, but it's definitely a fast-paced read. As I mentioned, it's quite easy for me now to figure out what is going on, who we're following, and what the political situation is at this current point in time, but it can all change so quickly. I know that some of these characters are quite rash, as the protagonists of YA fiction normally are, but I'm really enjoying this one so far. When I pick it up, I don't want to put it down, which is always a good sign, but unfortunately I do have to stop reading for a little while because it is currently the week of Polathon. It's currently Wednesday, and I would like to try and participate in that readathon, so I have just spun up my first two prompts. Unfortunately, this is one that I couldn't fit on there, which is such a shame. So I think I'm gonna pause this for a while, read the books for Polathon, and then dive straight back into this one, just because I feel like that is going to be the best way to do this without everyone being confused. I don't want to drag this across two different reading vlogs. I don't want to mention other books in this reading vlog because I will have a dedicated vlog for Polathon. So yeah, currently very much enjoying this one. We are still at the early stages, as I mentioned, and I honestly can't wait to see where the story goes, how the characters all come together, and also how this book wraps up, because there's a lot going on, and I know that it's a 6-book series, so I can expect for things to be dragged out quite a bit. But yeah, loving this one so far, so glad that I'm enjoying it, and I'm very sad that I do have to stop reading it for the rest of this week. So you might not get another update from me for a while. Obviously for you guys it will be literally 1 second, but for me it will probably be a few days. But as you can tell, I'm really enjoying Fallen Kingdoms, and I will of course update you guys once I have sat down and read a bit more of it. I'm very happy to say that I have now finished Fallen Kingdoms, and I really did enjoy this one. This is such a fast-paced book. I know I said that the beginning was a little bit slower, and it definitely was. However, I feel like I sat down and read 100 pages in no time at all, which is definitely a good factor for me in a book, because I need something that kind of grabs my attention and holds my attention, and this definitely did do that. I also get why it's referred to as a YA Game of Thrones, because the author is brutal and the characters in here are brutal. People are just getting killed off left, right and centre. Characters that I thought were going to be so important to the rest of the series were just killed off and then never spoken about again, which definitely did throw me off at some points. I feel like some of the deaths were a bit unnecessary and just there for kind of shock factor. But then again, the shock factor really got me, and I just realised how serious everyone was in this book, and because of that, how the war that is ultimately brewing is going to be so brutal. I'm not saying that this is the best written book ever, it's definitely not. It definitely has some issues within it. I have read a few reviews and watched a few reviews on YouTube since finishing this book, and I completely get what people are saying. However, my personal experience was a really good one. I wasn't reading it too critically, I just wanted a fun, magic-filled fantasy escape, and that is definitely what I got from this book. The magic in this is also elemental magic. It's called Elementia, which means that we have water, fire, earth and air magic, and there is a prophecy in this that the sorceress is going to return, who is the wielder of all 4 magics, and will hopefully bring the land out of its destitution and restore it to how it once was. This definitely had a lot of plot twists in it. I thought we were kind of done, and then it was like, oh no, actually this is happening, and then oh, fooled you again, this is now happening, which was a little bit annoying sometimes. And there were definitely points in this where characters got over obstacles and faced obstacles way too easily. I think that's my main gripe with it, is that things in here were quite, I don't want to say predictable, maybe easy is the word I'm looking for. I'm looking for a word, I can't quite get it right now though, but yeah, it was definitely a case of like something should have taken days or weeks or months, and luckily one person was there and was like, oh, I think I saw this and this, and then it takes about 2 seconds to actually find the solution to everything. So yeah, it's a little bit predictable, it's a little bit unrealistic at some points, but again, I had a good time with it. I really did enjoy this one. I feel like it's definitely a series that's going to get better with time. The second one is going to be on my March TBR, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, it had all the elements that I love in a book, and I cannot wait to continue on and see how everything progresses, because there was a lot in this book, like a lot did happen, and the way it ended was very abrupt. It definitely leads you on to want to read the sequel straight away. I have ordered the 3rd book, however, let me just say, that was a nightmare. The cheapest hardcover for the 3rd book was about £30 odd, so I've had one second hand. It says it's in good condition, it was only £4, so I'm really hoping that that is the case. You guys will see in my February book haul what it looks like and whether I was fooled or not, but I am going to be purchasing the rest of the books in this series, and I am going to be reading them hopefully throughout the next few months. So very, very pleased with my reading this week. I'm sorry that it's been a bit longer than a week because of Polathon, however I'm sure you guys can understand why I thought to just do that one separately and then finish this one off now. There should be a lot of good content in next week's vlog because I am off for half term and I'm hoping to read quite a few books, so make sure to click the subscribe button and the little notification bell so that you will be notified when that video goes live. For now though, I am gonna end this video here. If you have made it this far through and would like to let me know that you're still here, please go ahead and leave me a hawk or bird emoji down below. Hawks play a very important part in this book as well. It ties into the magic system here, so I definitely think that that is fitting. Also, there are eagles in the Lord of the Rings, so you know, I'm kind of making connections here to the other book that I finished. So if you don't have anything in particular that you would like to say but you would like to let me know that you're still here, please go ahead ahead and leave a bird emoji down below. As well as that, please don't forget to click the like button if you like this video and the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. It truly does mean the world to me, and I will see you soon in my next video. Goodbye!